The plane was ready for takeoff when chaos erupted. A police officer stormed in, handcuffing a black man and accusing him of a crime he didn't commit. Passengers watched in stunned silence, unsure of what to believe. But then the man spoke one sentence, and in an instant, everything changed. His words left everyone in shock. Before we continue, take a moment to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Your support helps bring more incredible stories like this to life. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. If you love heartwarming and thought-provoking stories about justice and accountability, this is the place for you. Now let's dive back into this unforgettable story. James Clark settled into his seat, adjusting his seatbelt as the airplane hummed with activity. Flight attendants moved up and down the aisles, helping passengers stow their luggage. A baby cried somewhere in the back, while an elderly couple whispered quietly to each other. The air smelled of fresh coffee and recycled oxygen. It was supposed to be an ordinary flight from New York to Los Angeles, a trip James had taken hundreds of times before. But today, something felt different. As James reached for the bottle of water in his backpack, he caught a pair of eyes watching him from across the aisle. A man in a police uniform, standing 2 rows ahead, kept looking at him. His gaze was sharp, suspicious. James shifted uncomfortably but tried to ignore it. Then it happened. "Hey you." The officer's voice cut through the noise of the cabin. Conversations died and heads turned toward James. James frowned. "Me?" he asked, confused. The officer pushed past the flight attendant and walked straight toward him, his hand resting on the grip of his holstered gun. "A robbery was reported before this flight took off. The suspect matches your description," the officer said, his voice cold. He pulled out his phone and held up a blurry security image. The figure was tall, broad-shouldered, but no clear facial features, just a vague silhouette. It could have been anyone. "You match the description of a suspect we've been looking for," the officer said, eyes filled with something James recognized all too well: prejudice. James let out a nervous laugh. "I think you got the wrong guy." But the officer wasn't listening. He grabbed James's arm roughly, yanking him out of his seat. Passengers gasped. Whispers spread like wildfire. "Sir, what's going on?" a flight attendant asked, stepping between them. "I'm detaining a suspect," he snapped, shoving her aside. James's heart pounded. "You can't just arrest me without proof," he protested. The officer smirked. "I don't need proof. You fit the profile." James clenched his fists. He knew what that meant. Black. That was the profile. Passengers watched, some with curiosity, others with quiet unease. No one spoke up. Not a single person. "Officer, this is a mistake," James said, trying to keep his voice calm. "I'm just a passenger. What am I being accused of?" The officer didn't answer. Instead, he pulled James toward the front of the plane, ignoring the uneasy glances from flight attendants. "Sir, maybe we should wait until we land to sort this out," one of them suggested hesitantly. "I am the procedure," the officer snapped. James clenched his jaw. He knew better than to fight back. He had seen what happened to black men who resisted, how quickly things could turn fatal. He forced himself to breathe, to stay composed, but inside, his anger was rising like a storm. A teenage girl sitting nearby finally broke the silence. "But he didn't do anything," she mumbled. Her mother hushed her immediately. James swallowed hard. So, this was how it was. They all saw the injustice, yet they wouldn't dare challenge it. "Officer, this is unnecessary," James said, his voice firm. "I've done nothing wrong." The officer shoved him against the bulkhead near the cockpit. "Hands where I can see them," he ordered. James exhaled slowly and raised his hands. "You still haven't told me what I did wrong." "Suspicious behavior," the officer sneered. "You fit the description of a wanted man." James let out a hollow laugh. "You mean I fit the profile?" The officer didn't deny it. Just then, the plane's intercom crackled. "This is your captain speaking. We've been informed of a situation on board. I need that officer to step forward immediately." James felt a chill run down his spine. Something was about to happen. Something big. The officer's grip on James's arm tightened for a split second before he hesitated, his confidence wavering. He turned toward the front of the plane. "Stay here," he barked at James before making his way to the cockpit. James rubbed his wrists, the cold metal of the cuffs still burning into his skin. He turned slightly to meet the eyes of the businessman who had spoken up for him earlier. The man gave a small nod. "Thank you," James said quietly. The businessman sighed. This shouldn't be happening. The plane continued its journey towards Los Angeles, but James's mind raced. He knew this was bigger than just him. If he could survive this, maybe, just maybe, he could expose what was really happening in the system.